It's open warfare in Canberra as Labor MPs air their grievances in public about the party's leadership. A spill is now on the cards in as little as a week from now. Julia Gillard's supporters are urging her to consider sacking Kevin Rudd and daring him to prove he's got the numbers to beat her in caucus by mounting a challenge. But the Foreign Minister's dodging questions about when or whether he'll make a push to regain the leadership. Political correspondent Tom Eagleton.
Kevin Rudd was caught napping by Julia Gillard in 2010 as the Foreign Minister winged his way to Mexico for a conference today. Her supporters were mounting the political ramparts to defend her leadership.
I think she's got to have an honest conversation with Kevin. Does he want to play in her team or doesn't he?
If not, sack him.
That's an option for her.
Mr Crean and other key Gillard supporters are daring Mr Rudd to challenge the Prime Minister and suggesting that his supporters are misleading journalists about how popular he is in caucus.
Now, Kevin hasn't got the numbers. We know that. And even this overblown position that the Australian keeps pumping out, I wonder when they've got the last count whether he sold on the Sydney Harbour Bridge as well.
The Gillard camp's incensed at Kevin Rudd's comments over the weekend, suggesting he'd be more inclusive as a leader second time around, seen as a direct pitch to wavering caucus members.
For all the time that he's been trying to say that he's different, a different Kevin, a new Kevin, all he does is reinforce the old Kevin.
I would be able to work quite well with Kevin.
There's also concern about reports Mr Rudd sounded out independent Andrew Wilkie about a change in leadership last year.
And he denies it, but if that's any guide, he's clearly been disloyal internally.
I'm disappointed by his remarks because they are based on an untruth.
And he's refusing to respond to those calls from the Prime Minister's supporters to bring on a challenge.
For the sake of clarity, can you confirm, if there is a leadership spill, will you throw your hat in the ring?
Well, can I say that that is not in prospect because we have a Prime Minister and I am the Foreign Minister.
Even as her supporters attack Kevin Rudd, the Prime Minister's trying to stay above the leadership issue.
I'm getting on with the job with the strong support of my caucus colleagues. Kevin Rudd is overseas getting on with his job too as Minister for Foreign Affairs.
Despite the open warring, Julia Gillard's refusing to acknowledge the campaign against her.
On the question of journalists and background briefings, it's been reported that the Minister for Foreign Affairs has denied that too.
But Labor insiders are in no doubt the Rudd challenge has reached a tipping point.
I think this is going to come to a head, and I think it will happen sometime after his return from overseas.
Tony Abbott says he's not fazed by who'd emerge victorious.
Well, look, that's really a matter for Labor members to argue about, and gee whiz, aren't they arguing about it right now?
But Labor members are showing the strain.
Should Julia Gillard call a leadership ballot?
The Prime Minister has my complete support.
Is that Julia Gillard or Kevin Rudd?
The Prime Minister.
Do you think the issue needs to be brought to a head?
It's a matter for her.
Do you think Kevin Rudd should just come out and openly admit what he's doing?
No comment.
All the ministers are getting on with their job and the Prime Minister should be allowed to get on with her job.
As the leadership battle nears its end game, the only clear fact is that Kevin Rudd does not, at this moment, have the numbers he needs to mount a successful challenge. Further instability will only help him narrow the gap. Tom Eagleton, Lateline.